when somebody's got that, they're at $5 or $10 million, they're either flat or it's just they're not growing like they used to. From a messaging or really a positioning point of view, what is something that they should look at?
Such a great question. And I'm so thrilled to be here. I think the first thing I would say is think of your customers like a conversation. The way you would talk at a college frat party is not the same way that you would talk to people or even who you would be talking to at a fancy cocktail party for elite professionals. Right now, I'm not trying to accuse anyone who has, a company with under 20 million ARR of being a frat party, but it's a different dialogue. You need to make, listen, frat parties are fun, but you need to be able to make sure that you are addressing the pain points of the people that you want to be in dialogue with. And so that means either that you've had clients all along that you've hopefully, if you've been doing your job, helping them grow. And so they're now at a point where they have different and more complex problems. And you want to make sure that you have an offering that shows that you understand and can speak to the pain points of the people that you want to be doing business with. So what happens with all of my clients actually is, they establish their messaging and positioning and it works for a while. But then, and especially if they've been successful enough that it doesn't seem like there's an urgent problem, that kind of stalls out. So it's really good, I would say, every year to look at your messaging and positioning and say, okay, are we speaking to the market where it is now? Are we speaking to our target customers and clients of where they actually are now? And are we actually representing what we do and the value that we give?
Okay, I'm curious. Are you talking? Because it almost sounds like there's two things. Is this like when you're starting out and you're scrappy, all clients are good clients?
That's
So are we
right.
talking a little bit about going up market now that you're no longer in your beggars can't be choosers mode? Or are you also kind of talking about like the market moves quickly now? Like, I almost feel like there's two reasons why you might need to revise positioning or at
I would,
least look
I
at it.
would actually say there are three that I can think of off the top of my head. One is, again, as you said, that when you're first starting out, you're smaller, and so you're probably going after smaller fish, and so they just need to get off the ground. And there's a little bit of testing and learning. The budgets probably aren't the biggest, but the needs probably aren't the biggest either. When you get into going up market, then you're looking at a higher complexity of problem because you're dealing with organizations with more moving parts and probably more different product verticals and more customer verticals that they are dealing with if you're B2B2C. So that's one use case is like, yes, going up market, but also dealing with a higher complexity of problem. Then, of course, the market changes, right? AI is changing things so rapidly. The way people are doing business is also changing rapidly. And so everyone is kind of pivoting and refining their offerings. So you just have to make sure, often messaging, in my experience, is actually the last thing that changes, where the whole organization pivots and then their external messaging playbook actually hasn't been updated to reflect that because everyone's kind of flying by the seat of their pants. So that cohesion is important. The third thing I would say is that, and this might be paradoxical, and people who work on more structural issues can speak to this, but actually a really important use case for growth for messaging is actually hiring, because you want to make sure that you are broadcasting yourself, not just to your customers, but also to top talent as a place where they should be interested to come and work. By the way, even if you don't necessarily have any open requisitions, because you want the top performers to be interested in you so that, you can find a way to get them in, bring that value in, and then use them to keep growing and building your company.
Yes, my God, we don't talk about that enough. We don't have time for that today, but like an alignment I see missing that is actually important is HR and marketing. We don't talk enough about that. I'm going to put a placeholder. That's a conversation for another day.